So again, we greet you all that have joined us via the live broadcast as we emanate live here from Yerushalayim, the city where Yah Shalom is taught. And I shall stand like an Eri, a city upon the great mountain of the abundance of his Torah, and speak unto us the Dabarim, the promises of Yah, that are found written in the Sefer, the book of excellence, the book of all truth, of no error, the book of Sadiq, and the book of the Torah of his Sadiqam, his righteousness. So we greet you all, our friends, our neighbors, and also our enemies. With salutation, we greet you as well, because I love enemies. I really do. I'm the enemy of no man, so if you are my enemy, that's your circumstance. I will not even deal with that. As I stated on the Shabbat, as we began the process of the end time, the Khala, when those things that Yah has commanded to be finished, they are finished. And the Acharith, it is a time that we are in the uttermost end time, but yet there are events that shall come to pass. It is all summed up in the word skits. It actually means death, the end. When the mind cannot even function according to any kind of confidence, when man is so distressed, when man has no ability to seek out any comfort at all, there will be no hearing of Torah. Men will desire the bread of life, but there will be no lechem from them at all. And so we found the essays, the writings, the speech of many that literally believe that they know when the end shall be. And they see the fortuitous signs that they believe are signs, and they tell you that it is near the end. So we should not even want that day that it shall come. And that's the truth. We should leave all things in the hands of Yah and work out our nephesh deliverance, our being delivered from the shackles of bondage. We must do that with fear and trembling to make sure that we're prepared for that great day. And I made a statement that we are a nation that possess no bino. We don't understand. We don't know how to take heed. We don't even know how to seek after. We have no bino. We cannot understand because there is no discernment among his nation. And when there is no discernment, there is no observation. We don't observe our ways and our thoughts and the things that we do, so we are not attentive to anything. And because we are not attentive, we will not give heed. We will not even consider. And when one understands, it is a knowledge, a spiritual and natural intelligence of the mind, the labah, that one understands the properties, that one understands all the ingredients that has brought one to that state of mind that one understands, that one that one can discern, that one can take heed with observation as one has discerned. And so as one discerns and take heed with great observation, it produces the mind that yada, it has an experience from the depths of Torah. One knows that the Torah is reliable because there is where the promises, the dabarim of Yah lies, and one can walk with great confidence. There are impediments to us and what we don't understand. We're wise in our own conceit. We're conceited. We're arrogant. We're very hubris. We think we know, but we literally do not know. We don't understand. And there's a reason. The process of its simplicity is in Torah, spoken by the mouths, the prophets of Yah. And I want to engage in that because there was a vital verse, and all the Chatuv, or the scripture of Yah, every verse is vital. It is very vital. It is the essence of our lives. It is what caused life to emanate. It is the living substance, the mayim, the water. Just like our natural bodies, we need water. Many times our bodies began to die because we don't drink water. And many times our bodies cannot heal themselves because we don't like water. We must drink from the well, the living well. Just like our bodies despise the natural water, we despise the spiritual water. We like things that are pre-sweetened and things that are not best for us. This will be best for you. I would have begun here. Began in 2nd Baruch. While we cannot understand the case, the time that we are in, the hour, because if we understood, we would take heed. It would be of great value. It will show one thing in the ponim, or in our faces, that we have great insight. That's what understanding is. You have a great insight. You have an intelligence of the knowledge. And you apply that to the spiritual dynamics of what's written in the book. So you have a tremendous insight because you know the mind of Almighty Yah in Yeshua HaMashiach. Egan Baruch says this in 2nd Baruch 27, verse 14. I want to re-engage this verse as I kind of sum things up on Shabbat with this. Baruch says, as he spoke of the 12 parts that would integrate themselves one with another to confuse the time and the season. He says, for some of these parts will withhold a parts of themselves, and they will take from others, so that they may accomplish or pala, to finish the works, to go beyond one's depth of knowledge and power to understand. That's what pala is. To go beyond the ability of one's power, of one's knowledge of that matter. So in essence, it would be somewhat of a confused state of mind, because one part will take on this part, and that part integrate with that part, and they all integrate together, and so it is a hodgepodge, and you don't know what to expect. And so you will hear people say, well, the weather is changing, so what? Has the heart of man changed? When Yah brought down destruction on man, it wasn't because of the weather. It was because of the ovin, the iniquity, the defiance of Torah that he had commanded them. So it will be pala, that which belongs to them. That part that belongs to that part, and that to that part, although this part or this activity shall present itself, that will not cause that activity to pala. And it will go beyond the ability of one's power to recognize. Yah says this, that which belongs to them and others, hence, those who live. This is what it says. Those that hide. It's like green vegetation. You can see the grass is alive because it's green. It's lively, it grows. It has to be pruned. So our lives, when we grow in the knowledge of Yah, there's a constant process of pruning. That's what Torah does. His word is powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword. And it always cuts, it prunes, it shears, and it makes sure that it leaves the roots, which is his love in the heart of Yisrael. That is Yah's roots. To have his great ahab, his ahava. He said, hence, those who live on the earth in those days will not understand, not, lo, L-O, the language of our forefathers. When Yah says no and lo, not, it implies that there is no possibility. The parent may say no to the child and say to the child, what part of no you don't understand? And yet they will reverse their answer. But Yah says, those that live on the earth in that hour, and those that believe that they're wise and they have been scrupulous in Scripture, he said they will not understand that it is the chetz, the end of times. Not just time, but times. It will be the end of all things, the chetz, the death of what we think as our productive lifestyles, the death of anything that opposes Yah. Because during the antediluvian, the age of Noach, he destroyed everything. And they did not even know until Noach entered into the covenant, the Brits. When we enter into this covenant that he has commanded in Torah, it is a Brit. It is a birth. It is a life. And that it is an allegiance. It is camaraderie that we oblige him. We connect to him. And above all, we join ourselves unto him. And the reason why? Because he is the only one that can fulfill all promises. And someone with great intent may promise you, and yet there are impediments that cause them not to fulfill that. There is nothing that impedes Yah for fulfilling all promises. And he's going to fulfill all things that are written in the book, because by his immutability, by the witness of Moshe and Yeshua HaMashiach, he cannot lie. There is no sheker, no lie, no deception, no falsehood in Yah. None whatsoever. That's his immutability. Moshe and the power of the Torah given unto the nation, and the living substance of Torah, Yeshua HaMashiach. He cannot lie. So you will not find an error or falsehood in Torah. Now, what is one of the most main ingredients why we don't belong? We don't understand. We have no understanding. I want us to examine our hearts by the reading of the prophet, the Nabi Jeremiah, as he speaks to us profoundly. Even when Yah spoke unto this man and says, warn Yehuda, warn Yisrael, they had no comprehension. As this man wept before them, they could not even understand. So he speaks profoundly here in Jeremiah chapter 4. Verse 19, I want to begin here. He cries of his bowels, his inward part. It's like an Ima Anavat said, my heart hurts so because of my son, my daughter, my wife, my husband. People don't understand that. And those that have never been affected that way, they don't understand what it is that their inward parts, he says, my bowels. And he says that there's an agony of great pain in my very life, in my hearts. The agony of that, the agony of my heart, it is so powerful I have no control over that. So I weep for his elect, his nation, his people. He says that even his love, his heart, makes a tremendous noise within his bowels. It groans with great agony and pain that cannot be uttered by the mouth. He cannot even speak it. He said, I cannot hold my silence because you have heard. I have warned you, nation. I have spoke unto you the Dabarim, the promises of Yah. He has made his headquarters in Jerusalem, in the city and the mind of a nation of people where his shalom dwells, where it has a stronghold. He says, oh my nephesh, he cried unto his being because of the great agony. He said, the sound of the shofar and the alarm. He could hear the sound in his bosom, in his mind. And he said, the great battle, the milchama, the great war, it is at hand. For there shall be wars and rumors of wars. Yet the end is not yet. Not only the physical wars or the physicalities of wars, I'm talking about the battle within our own minds, our sins, our corruption, our iniquity taking dominance over us, that we don't respond the way Torah commands us. We don't cooperate with Torah. He uses the word Sheba. He says destruction. He's going to break the bones. He's going to shadow. He's going to destroy and crush. He's going to bring it to ruins. Listen, he says destruction, destruction upon destruction. The Sheba, the great hand of Yah, crushing, and his mighty af. When Yah is angry with the wicked every day, it is his af. And what his af implies that he resents us. Not just a resentment, it is a king resentment. As the old ones would say, I despise you. I despise that child. And the reason they will respond like that, it was because of the activities of the young one. And their ill-trained manner and their disregard for anything that was righteous, proper, and ordained by those that had authority to command them. And they would say, I despise him. Oh, I despise her. He says, Sheba, great destruction, a great crushing. It's going to be so shattering and mind-boggling that we will not even understand. And he says it cries, it kara. There's a low vocal, that's what Jeremiah did. He cried out. Not only did he physically cry with great tears, but he cried, he kara, whereby his jugular vein was noticed by the people. He says that it cries, kara, to the people. It utters a loud sound. To who? He says the whole land. And the reason, because the eretz, the whole earth, the four corners, he said it is Shodad. It is a violent place. Shodad implies it's violent. It's mean against Yah. It's mean against the subjects of Yah. There's a hatred for true Yisrael. He says the whole earth is Shodad. Everything is ruined. Destruction everywhere. Every kind of decent constitution is destroyed. There's nothing that carries any kind of validity today that appeals to a mind that has no understanding. That's the reason we don't understand. And then he says, Jeremiah, he says, suddenly, without warning, without a cry, he says, suddenly are my tents spoiled. Do we understand that without any warning? You have no time to prepare. You can't say that I will take this and that. He says, my ochel, my sanctuary, my tabernacle where my mind ponders the ways of Yah, it is suddenly overshadowed. I'm overtaken. I'm a student of words, Israel. I don't labor for 10 minutes to understand this, all right? It takes wee hours and hours. I'm an examiner of every word. That's how ignorant I am, and I do not apologize for that. He also says, and my curtains, in a moment, it is spoiled. And when something is spoiled, it has no purpose. If it's spoiled, you cannot eat that, consume that, and it comes suddenly. We are often reproved by Yah. And we rebel, we harden our heart. He says then suddenly, or destruction comes suddenly without warning. You're not going to be warned. He's not going to tell you to stop. Because as we harden our hearts, it's because our hearts are cold. We have no love for Yah. And we have no love for Almighty Yahweh. We cannot love our neighbors as ourselves because we frankly don't even love ourselves. We pretend we do, but we don't love ourselves. That's why we can't love our neighbor. We can't love them. And then he goes on to say in verse 21, how long shall I see the standard, the ensign, the banner, the niece? We should have the banner of Ahab. I was listening to the little children this morning as they were playing, and Hadassah, and she was reading and teaching them. And she was talking about the love of Yah. And they were sitting there, they were listening and playing. She says to them, you think I don't hear, but I hear things. She says to them, she says, I know it says love, but when we see that, let us say ahaba, ahava. Did she say that? You think Papa didn't hear? I was just elated to see you do that. And Jesus, let it be ahaba. I like that. You see, you think Papi wasn't paying attention, but he was listening. How long shall this great standard of Yah? How long shall I see the standard and hear the sound of the shofar? Because there's great agony in me. Yah is sending forth the warning. And then he speaks with a voice. He utters from the throne of the heavens. He shows us the possessive. He says, my, Jeremiah 4:22, he says, my people, we are evil. We are foolish. It's not because of the way we act, because we do simple things. That's not foolish. We despise the wisdom of Yah. We mock Yah when he reproves us. We despise his instruction. That's why he said that my people are evil. They are foolish. We despise the wisdom of Yah, and we mock even the Torah of Yah when we know we are guilty. We know we have transgressed and sinned against Yah, and we mock that as to make some accommodation for ourselves. He said, my people, Look at the content of his people. We are evil. We are a foolish people. We are simpletons. We are silly. I did not say that. If we are the people of Yah, that's what he said. My people are evil. They despise wisdom. They mock. They laugh. They speak against any kind of judgment against them. And that's our nature. We don't like that. Because we're right in our own eyes. And our ways are right. He says, my people are foolish. He says, they have not known me. They have not experienced me. I can see if he said they do not. He puts it in a confirmative. He affirms that. He said they have not. They don't know me. It's almost like a situation between a husband and wife. And he says to her, I thought you knew me. Or she says to him, I thought you knew me better than that. You know that I would not conspire to that degree for a thing of that nature. I thought I knew you. And one does something, the child and the mother say, I thought I knew you better than that. He said, they have not known. We have not yada. We have not experienced the content of Torah. Because we don't have love for Torah. He says, they have not known me. And the reason why, because they are satish. We are sakal. We are fools and simpletons and stupid. That's what he says. Yeah, help me to be ignorant. I don't want to be sakal. He said, my people are satish. And the reason we are foolish and act immature is here. He says, the reason we are satish, children, is because we have no low understanding. That's why we don't understand what is taking place. That's why our lives are not circumspect. That's why we can live like dogs and wickedly and have no conscience of our actions and our activity. Because first of all, we have not ever known him. We don't know him because we have no understanding. And we are very wise to do evil. We're very wise to lie, to cheat, to do cunning things, to gossip, to come against the achim, the chutchim. We're wise to do that. We're subtle as Hashatan. He was the most subtle one. He walked in guile. And we disguise ourselves with lies and falsehood. We're wise to do evil. We're wise to do Raah. Raah implies that I'm doing things that are so wicked that it causes this malignant growth in everyone that enter my presence. It is a cancer, and they become just like you. So we're wise to do evil because we have no understanding. And the reason we have no binah, we can't discern. We don't take heed to our ways. And we think we know when the end shall be. No, we don't. We don't know. We pretend and we kid ourselves. Not only is there no understanding in us, we don't belong. We don't have an intelligent mind of a love of Torah. We got a mind to love evil and to do evil and to do spite. But we don't have a mind that loves Torah. And there's an appreciation. We mock, we talk crazy because our minds are evil. And we don't understand the judgment of Torah. That's why we do it, because we don't know Yah. We have no fear of Yah, no Yareh. There is no Yira. We don't tremble. You come before him with this superficial thing you have learned from the filthy whorehouse. And you can do all of that, but that means nothing. You can pretend, but you will not get by. They have not even known me. They have no knowledge. When a man is bright, you can kind of sense that. When a daughter has the beauty of the essence of a beautiful woman, you will know that. You will know that. Sure you will. She doesn't has to be superficial or create some kind of beauty. It just flows. Hear this. He says we have no understanding. We're wise to do evil, but to do right. To do right. We have no understanding. We have no understanding of that. We're wise to do right, but to do right. He says we have no yada. We have no knowledge. And the way you acquire knowledge is that you get understanding so you can discern your wrong and what we are that you may understand. And the reason we have no knowledge is because we can discern. And when we have the yada of Yah, we have the ability to discern and to see. And we have a heart that finds out by the hearing of Torah. So we don't have that. We don't know how to be honest with ourselves because we don't fear the book. We don't fear Yah. We have no yada, no da'at, no de'um, no knowledge. Knowledge helps you to discern things. You see it clearer. You understand each component of that. As Arazoki Yarameya reminds us often in this building, I believe that this end of this building is much deeper than that end because the ground was not level. And I was amazed when we took the carpet up because we hauled dirt from where we moved all this dirt for this pond. Because it was so low, we had to pack tons of dirt in here, and we didn't have a skid loader. And I remember working that first day with the wheelbarrow because I knew we had to get it done. And so when we pulled the old carpet up, I found just a little small crack. I was amazed. All these years, we did it quite well. These walls, you don't see cracks in them. Why? Because we laid down what they call basement reinforcement wire. It costs, and we grouted out the blocks because this is Yah's house. It will stand strong. And if we are the bed of Yah, then we must build ourselves up in what? The most kadosh imuna faith. We must do that. We have no understanding, and without that, we have no knowledge because we are foolish. He called us Evel. He called us Zachal. We're sottish. That's what Yah says. You got a problem with that, take it up with him. I don't have a problem with that because he identifies me, maybe not you, but me he does. He says, Jeremiah said, I beheld the earth, and lo, this was from the beginning, wasn't it? He says, listen to this nation. He said it was without form and it was void. When one or a thing is void, there is no properties in that is worth anything, is it? There are no ingredients when it's void. There is nothing of essence in that. It takes composition to make anything. There are components and different things to make anything. He said it was void. And the Shemayim, we must hear this line apart. It had no light. Now listen to me. The first thing that Yah did when there was no light, he says what? Let there be ma'or, light. That even the celestial bodies rejoice. He said, let there be light. Now what proceeded out of his mouth? Was this his word? Was it not his word? Is that not his Torah? Is not Yeshua the light of the world? Was he not the Torah made flesh? And there was no light. There was no Torah to govern. And so we have no light in us. There is no Torah to govern us. What is his light? We know that the mitzvah, the commandments of Yah, that is the near. That is the lamp, Yisrael. That is the lamp that holds the oil. It is what glisten. We look at the properties of the word near. He said, my mitzvah is the lamp, a lamp. It is the near. And so in my agonizing pursuit to understand things, I realize what the word near, although it means a lamp and it's glittering, but the most prominent component of the word near, a lamp, it is this. If you hear nothing tonight, it is to till and break up the fallow ground. Our hearts are hardened. Our hearts are hardened. Our hearts are hardened. They're cold. They're nasty. They're wicked because there's no knowledge. That's why we will not understand what's happening. And so that's what his lamp is. That's what his lamp is. This is his lamp. You must have oil in a lamp to get light. You cannot get light from a lamp without oil. And he says, and the Torah, what is his Torah? It is his Dabarim. It is his word. And the Torah is light. And there was no light. And Yah says, let there be light. And as we sat in darkness, all of us, it was that Torah, Yeshua, that spoke unto us, come out of her, my people. And reproof of instruction, that is the derech of life. That's how life goes. That's how life is productive. And it produces. That's how life goes. No light, yet he spoke unto a nation. He gave unto us the mitzvah, which is the near. It caused our hearts to glisten. And when we don't comply with this, it breaks up that wicked sod and that enamored heart that is encased with every kind of wicked sin, that we would know what? To fear him. We don't want the day of Yah. No, we don't. This is a stupid generation. No, forgive me, Yah. It is beyond stupidity. It is so chal. We've got time for everything, but Yah, we frankly don't give a damn. I'm not going to stop saying that. Oh, you think you're brighter? I'm brighter than you. How about that? You think you know? I know more than you. Can I tell us a little something before I proceed? I received a call the other day, and the woman says to me, I'm reading from the book of Yesha. And I see this word, K-I-T-T-E-M. I says to her, Kitam. Oh yes, I want to know that my people, what does that mean? Or are there any in Kitam? So I said to the woman, I said, ma'am, I have one question for you. May I ask? Oh yes. I said, tell me the value added that you will receive if I answer that. What is the purpose? What value does it add to your life? Oh, I'll just know for myself. I said, you tell me that's the value add? I said, I want to ask you a question. Now, you say you are a Hebrew, right? Oh, yes, sir. I said, now you call me and ask me what the word kitam or kitti, what it means. Where's the land? I said to her, I want to ask you a question. You say you are a Hebrew. You're from the lineage of Abraham, right? Yes, sir. So that means you are a Hebrew, right? Oh, yes, sir, I know, yes. I said, I want to ask you a question, and then I will answer the question on Kiti. I said, tell me what the word Abraham or Hebrew means. Well, I really don't know. I said, what I would think that you would start with the basic elementary things. You learn that first. And then when you learn that, then I will answer the Kitim or the Kiti for you. I said, don't you see that you knowing that it is of no value? Is it going to cause you to walk right and to love Yah? I said, I will tell you what the word Hebrew means, or Ibram. It means from beyond. Beyond the concept of man, beyond the identity to identify. It's beyond that. That's what it means. Oh, okay. I say that's more valuable than you understanding what Kiti is. This is a silly, ignorant, arrogant, self-grandizing generation. Because everyone wants to be smart. Everybody. You don't even have command of the English vernacular, but you're smart. You're dumb. Again, now, hear this. I want to show us Baruch, and I want to identify his speech throughout Torah with great veracity. Second Baruch, chapter 59, I want to begin at verse 1. Now he speaks unto the nation as to what the Torah pronounced. And the word was, the Dabarim, the promises of Yah, were made alive. And they were held in this earthen tabernacle that we know as Yeshua HaMashiach. So here this mighty messenger, this scribe, this writer, this prophet unto Yisrael. He writes with clarity here in 2nd Baruch, chapter 59, verse 1. He talks about the fourth bright waters. And that is the revelation of the power of Yah, that the light shines beyond the heavens above, that it shines bright in a man's heart. So he said, in the fourth bright waters, which you have seen, your ayin, there is a concept, a knowledge, a spiritual revelation which you have seen. Now, he says to us, that is the coming of Moshe, the Torah giver. He says, and Haran, the Levi, that from that lineage we will have a pure Torah, because it was guarded. If you all do a research on the warring of the Levi tribe, as they would say in the days, quote, they were some bad boys, unquote. They were bad to the bone. They were not cowardly men. And their homes were in order. They couldn't marry a whore, a woman with babies. They could not. They were bad. Hear this. He says, and Miriam, this is the fourth bright water. So Miriam gives us, she is the banner of the daughters of Zion now. She took the timbrel and said to the women, let's dance. Come on, we don't do that now. We got that trash we learned from the filthy whorehouse. And he talks about Yahushua. Now he identifies him as the son of Nun and Caleb. And all those who are like these. Are we like one of them? We're not like one of them. You're not like Miriam, daughters. Akim, we're not like Moshe. We're not like Caleb. We're not like Yehoshua. We're not like Joshua. We're like them. That's what the brightness of this living water reveals unto us. Yeshua is this living water. The word is this living water. That we be like them. You want to be like a filthy whore or some effeminate man, gayish. We don't want to be like them. We don't be like Miriam. She took the timbrel and she began to prophesy. See, we're FM. We mock ya. And we are guilty. Well, you ain't got nothing on me. You ignorant woman. Man, you're silly. I don't waste my time with people. As I get older, I get wiser. He says, for at that time now, when this bright water, this light shine, he said, at that time, the lamp. Well, what lamp? That we said that thy Torah, your word, is a lamp. Now, if his word is a lamp, then there's light in us. That's what we don't understand. Can I ask you a question? Can you read this book without light? You can't sit down in your house and read it without the physical light, right? Neither do you have the passion to read it without the light in your heart. So that's why we don't read it. That's why we don't study it. You can read all day long, it means nothing. He says, for at that time the lamp of not just a Torah, but the eternal Torah. Your word is a lamp unto my feet. That's what it is. And it is the light unto my pathway. That's what the Torah is. That's why they can sing this song, You Know the Way. I used to walk. I don't walk no more since the light of the Torah came upon me. You know my pathway shines bright. I can see where I'm going. Yah leads and guide me every day. I wish I had a man to teach me like this. I would have loved, I would have been faithful to that man and stood by him and served him too. I don't mind serving a man. He that is great or has gadol, let him serve the kedushim. We don't want to serve because we want to be great, but we're not great. You got greatness, you will serve. That's the true sign of one that has greatness, because they're humble. And that's why we don't serve no one. We get angry when someone tells us something. No, women, don't let another woman tell you something. Men, it is so stupid. That's the sign of immaturity. Children don't act like that. A little Chava, when she had them all in line. She said, y'all sit down, you sit down. No, sit back over there. At that time, the lamp of the eternal Torah, which exists, it says, Olam Viat. And ever, he said, the Torah is always naga. It is always illuminated. It shines. It's bright. If that Torah exists in us, it shines. It enlightens. That's what the Torah does. It enlightens. You want to have knowledge, you must study the book. You must lahak. You must meditate. You must allow it to judge you. Now, he's writing this for a reason. He says, all those that sat in darkness. Did we not sit in darkness? And the great light of Yahshua shine. We rejected him because men love darkness more than light. That's why we reject truth. That's why we don't understand, because we love our dark ways more than we love the light of Torah. That's why we mock those that instruct us. All those that sit in darkness, this lamp. Hear what the light will do, the Torah. This great light. What is the lamp? His word. His Torah. This lamp will announce to those who believe the dabarim, the promises of the reward. And to those, the Torah does, who deny the punishment of fire which is kept for them. The Yush, A-Y-S-H, the fire, ISH man, he is the torch bearer of you. He bears the torch of life and light and the fire. So that's why he is a synonymous with ish, 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 the fire. For the fire, as Jeremiah says, it burns at the well of my belly. This Torah, this lamp, it is like fire shut up in my bone. You're not going to hear this with those Nicodime, pseudo-official prophets, teachers, and preachers. They don't talk like me. Are you boasting? No. I'm boasting. I would love to find this kind of talking and just sit down and listen. As a fact, I can talk like you. No, you cannot. You cannot talk like me. There was one wrote me the other day and said, we just love to hear you here. Your voice emanates this living Torah. Why don't you do the Torah and CDs? I respond, I'm so busy. That's not Yah's will at this moment. Who knows? That doesn't mean I'm smarter than you. It means that I believe this greater than you. How about that? He says this. He says that this Torah is for those that deny there's a fire kept. That's what the Torah does. That's why we don't understand, because there's no great love for the Torah of Yah. What? It is the word of Yah that is the lamp and the oil of our excitement, which caused the light to come on. Can I show an example? There's something that you like, you want, and all of a sudden when you get that, is there not excitement? Come on, it be real. You get excited about things, don't you? Well, we don't get excited about Yah, do we? You get excited about trip. Just be honest. When it comes to Yah, when I left the house, I looked, I clicked on the mail, and there was an offering for $130. Well, praise Yah. You know we needed Yah. So we get excited about things. We don't get excited about this. He tells us this. Hear this, please, in the next verse. Baruch 59:3. I want you to hear this. He said, but also the Shemai and the heavens will be mut. It's going to be shaken. The heavens. We've heard that. I'll read it. He says that the heavens shall be moved, it shall be overthrown. He's going to shake the heavens and the earth again. And everything that has defied the way of his order is coming down. Devil, your kingdom is coming down. Oh, it is. Well, you've been building it all over this world is coming down. Every angel that fell and every spirit that rose up against the promises of Yah, they're up there, aren't they? And above all, they're here. It says in the height of our mind, of our arrogance, our pride. What are we doing? We're going to hell. Period. Because if we scarcely make it, no one is looking to see who's behind them or who's in front. That's why we must save myself. I'm not worrying about mama, sons and daughters, children, aunts, or you may say auntie, but it's aunts, an uncle, or anyone. I'm going to say me, not wife, nor anyone. And so I must preach like this to break up the fallow ground, to remind me all of his promises and what he has done, not to be phony, but to be real. He said, but also the heavens will be shaken from his place at that time. The heavens. Not because the weather's changed, but there's a war over there in the land of Palestine, Israel. because of what's taking place in Iraq, Iran. He said the heavens are going to be shaken, and the heavens which are under the throne of Almighty Yahweh, that heavens that sits on this throne, that visible heavens, the mighty one, it says, were severely shaken when he took Moshe with him. When he took that Torah, Yeshua, when he gave up the Ruach, the heavens turned down. He's going to shake it one more time. He's going to shake your earthen vessel one more time. And if this doesn't shake us and corral us, we're sick. If this doesn't shake us from our pride, our arrogance and our sin and our hateful, wicked ways, you cannot be made free. You might as well live like a vagabond and a dog. And that's a fact. If he pours out his heart to us and we don't take heed, it doesn't mean a damn thing to us. Something is wrong with us. Something is sick. Something is sick. Because we dwell in the same spirit of your father, the devil, who was a liar from the beginning. Why? Because he did not abide in Torah. And we don't allow our minds to abide in Torah, do we? We get silly and clown. I love what I saw the children doing. They were playing. You know, the whole time, Imam. I was listening all the time. Even had old Abner there singing and yeah, on the porch, on the back deck. You were there with them. I'm looking at you, mister. That was you. He was there. And they were singing and singing and singing and singing and singing and singing and singing. And then they all headed out. And they played a little, and then Hadassah, that's when you left, bonehead. So Hadassah was reading scripture, and they said, Papi, can we watch you? I said, get back, because I'm limbing trees. And the next thing I knew they were poor. I said, if you all get on away from me, I'll take my belt off, I will. I want you to get hurt, baby girls. And so they were singing and rejoicing and just singing and singing and singing and singing. Sure they were. I didn't say anything because I enjoyed it, Mama. Let the little ones sing. Unless we become as, what are these little ones? I want to finish this tonight. You're not going into the kingdom, you're going to hell. This is what Yeshua says here in Mark. And one more verse in Baruch. Mark 13:25. He says, and the stars of the heavens, they're going to fall. Not just the physical, but those angels. I call them angels because I know that a melech is a messenger of Yah. He says, and the stars of the heavens shall not fall. They're coming down. And the spiritual beings, they're coming down. And the powers that in the heavens shall be shaken. And the throne of Hashatan, Mark 13:25, is going to come down. Just like Baruch says, the earth shall be shaken. And the earthly vessels are going to be shaken. And he says in verse 26, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with great power and the splendor of Yah. So he's trying to shake us. That we can see he is coming. The word coming, it is bo. It implies to enter in. So why don't we open our hearts and let him enter in? He stands at the door as he speaks to us tonight, and he's knocking. It is because we're waxed so cold. We're cold toward him. I don't want to be that way. I'm not going to be that way. I'm not going to be cold. I don't care what one does. I'm not going to be cold. I don't care how ignorant, because they operate in such ignorance. They're just ignorant. I'm not going to be cold. I'm not going to be nasty. I will fuss. Let's get the job done, man. Why do I say that? Because I will give you 160%. You give me 40%. They give us 200%. I'll give you that. That I will. I won't hold back. I'll give it. That's fact. Hallelujah. I'll give you nothing partial. He gave all, didn't he? Baruch 59:4. He says, for Yah showed him many warnings together with the ways of Torah. See, that's how he warns us with the ways of Torah. Second Baruch 59:4. We don't understand. He showed him many ways of the Torah and the end times. See, that's what the Torah teaches us. That's what the Torah teaches us. It's fulfilled in the Brit Hadassah, or the writing of the covenant that is renewed in Yeshua HaMashiach. What does it mean that is Chadash? It's renewed because the light of it is revealed. It is a living way. It is a way that lives in us. Also the end time as also to you. And then further, also the likeness of Zion with this measure, which was made after the likeness of the present sanctuary, tabernacle. So what he is saying, that the way that the first order of Yah was made, the present tabernacle, that's what we should measure up to, that same excellence. Shlomo tried to do it, but he didn't do it because he went into strange ways. That's why when I teach on the millennium, you'll understand what it's all about. We don't know. We think we do. We go to the internet and read something, we think we got something. There's a woman sent me a page of stuff today and said, I trust your opinion on that. My opinion is of no substance. It is of no value. Now I can answer from the Torah. I can prove it with a preponderance of evidence. But I can't write her back, she sent me that much paper. I can't write back to that. It takes too much time. And if she listens, the answer, she will hear them. I may teach it one day, but I'm certainly not going to write a letter. Hallelujah. What's for us? It is one thing that we must understand, that his wrath is going to come. And we are a nation that we flatter ourselves in our lies and our corruption. We support corruption and lies. I want us to get a tentativeness to this in Devarim. And I want to move quickly. Deuteronomy chapter 29. Even in the great warnings of Yah, we still do not take heed. So he speaks to his nation in Devarim 29. I want to move to verse 17. He tells them, you understand, you have seen what I've done to those, or those in Mizraim. You have seen their abomination, their to'eba, their filthiness, their unclean ways. I want you to ponder that for a moment. Yah says, and you have seen there, who is there? He's talking about those of Mizraim, their abominations. You have seen all of their giluth, or their idols. He said, that are made of wood and stone, silver and gold, which were among them. He said, I'm warning you, unless there should be among you a man or a woman or a family or tribe whose heart, whose love, whose labah, whose mind, turn away this day from Yah, your Abba. For what? To go and serve the demons, the ghosts, the gods of these nations. In essence, you don't act like those of a strange nation. You don't take upon their superficial identity to look like them. Yah says, lest there should be found among you a root. Again, the word root. We should be grounded and rooted in the great love of Yah, a root that bears gall. Oh, not me. And he says, Lachana, it bears wormwood, a bitterness of stench. When you turn away from Yah, what? You turn your heart away from loving him with all. You are bitter. You have the wormwood. You have this lachana. You're bitter, you're mean, you're angry, and you stink. Look at who you are. That's you. Because you have turned. You have shu. Your mind doesn't engage with Yah. But here with Dunkin' Donuts, our minds engage with that. Why did I say that? Because isn't that something? I want me a donut now. I'm serious. One of them lemon fields too. That's what I want. That's the only kind I like. Oh, stop it, you hypocrites. I wouldn't eat that. I will then. How about that? Dunkin' Donut, lemon field. I remember Dunkin' Donuts. I would get off from work making $2.65 an hour. You get a roast beef sandwich, a bag of chips, and 4 donuts for $1.99. That was my Friday excursion. I knew Mama wasn't going to eat it. I'll get me 2 roast beef sandwiches. And come home. Didn't have no big television, a little black and white. And sit there, eat that. Yes, lemon field, Mama. Now you can't get the, I want lemon field donuts. You could taste that bad boy in my mouth. I could. Hallelujah. This bitterness, this lachana, this wormwood, tibarim, when we forget Yah. Now when we forget him, this is Torah I'm reading from, isn't it? Look at what Yochanan says here in Revelation. The judgment which is by Torah. He says, unless you allow this root that bears gall and wormwood. Revelation 8:10. He said, I heard the third melach sound, and there fell a great star from the heavens, burning as it were a lamp. It was the Torah of judgment. That's what it was. And it fell upon a third part of the river and the fountains of water. And the name of the star is called Wormwood. Do you hear that? This wormwood, this gall of bitterness, this hatefulness that rests in our bosom, the Torah speaks of that. Because we have forgotten Yah. We have forgotten the promises of Yah, and this gall, this nasty gall of bitterness rise up in our bosom. And he gives us an indication of the judgment of this wormwood. It's going to kill you. And you're going to die like dogs. That's what we're going to die like. And that's a fact. And I saw the great hand of Yah by the actions of Torah. And it says, and a third part died of the waters because they were bitter. And the waters were cursed. We have this wormwood, it's a curse, a kala, a kara. There is an anatomy laid upon us. And we don't realize it. That's why our minds can't change, and our ways can't change, and we can't change ourselves. There's nothing you can do to change you. And it begins with the process of identifying your wickedness by confessing. And we're not going to do that. We're too arrogant. We're full of pride. We're better than that because I'm better than you. He says, because the waters were made bitter. It is your own wormwood. and you have no understanding of this death in this gall that when it bursts, it's going to fill your body with every kind of disease, and death shall flow. Torah and the Brit Hadassah, they all tie together. It is one book. And that's why we can't speak and talk just by reading the book. Everything must be a line upon line upon line, precept, precept. The reason it must be because we are wicked people and must be proven unto us. That's why. The Bereans, they heard those things from Shaul and they believed. It was not that they did not believe, they believed. And they searched the Torah. They didn't have the Brit Hadassah. They searched those things because they were beyond the ability to comprehend the depths of that. It was beyond that. They didn't have the depths of wisdom. God has raised up men to have wisdom, to understand the great depths and the great knowledge of this Torah. Devarim 29, I would have finished there 19. And it come to pass, when he hear the words of this Allah, this Kala, this curse, that he bless himself in his heart. When God shows us what's in us, we bless ourselves, don't we? I'm not that way. I'm better than that. When he hear the curse, this Allah, he says, I will have shalom. Though I walk in the imagination of my own lamb, to add raveth, drunkenness. He commands us to be sober in this hour. To add drunkenness, we look drunk, we act drunk, and we walk drunk. He said, to my thirst. Yah says this in the 20th verse. He says, Yah will not shalach. He will not forgive us. He will not have pity. Do you hear that? He will not pardon us at all. That's what shalach is. Oh, baby, you can say, no, don't play with the fire of his Torah. Don't play with Yah. He said, I will not even pardon. I won't spare him. He said, but then the after keen resentment of Yah and his kina, the kana of Yah, only his jealousy. I don't know how to define that. He says, and his jealousy shall smoke against that man. He's going to cause the fire to consume us. The fire of his words shall burn and reveal you and reveal us. We have no understanding, so we don't realize that. He said, and all the curses that are written in the book shall lie upon him, and Yah shall blot out his name out of the Lamb's book from under the heavens. And Yah shall separate him for evil out of all the tribes of Israel, according to all the curses and the covenant that's written in the book, where? Of the Torah. We don't want to understand that we're going to be judged out of this book. And the reason we don't understand the time, because the book, the Torah, is of no value to us. It has no wisdom to us. And that's what we don't understand. When we understand, we have knowledge because we have an experience with Yah. We know he means what he says. And he is not talking just to be heard. Well, my friend, you have read from the Old Covenant what clarifies that in the Brit Hadassah. Well, can I give us great clarity on this? Out of the Renewed Covenant? Well, turn your attention to Matithiyah. Matthew chapter 13. The true house of Yah will understand. That's why there will be weeping and crying in Zion. That's why the daughters will weep and the men between the pillars and the porch of the altar of Yah. They will cry and they will seek his face. Matthew 13 and 13. It says that Yeshua spoke to them in mashal, in parables. He did not intend for everyone to understand. So he spoke in mashal. He spoke in terminology that was much more superior than their intellectualism, their individuality. So he spoke in mashal. Because seeing Although the eye end could have been opened there, could not see not. They saw not. And hearing, they could not even hear. Why? Neither do they understand. That's what we don't understand. Because the Torah is a mashal. It's beyond your intelligent capacity to understand it. That's why I said, then he spoke. He spoke in parables. And that's why y'all give gifts unto the assembly. And there are dogs that don't even fear Yah, and they can't teach understanding. They're dogs. So they can't teach understanding at all. Verse 14, and in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Yeshua, Yahoo, which says, by hearing you shall not hear. By hearing you shall hear and shall not understand. See, we hear, but we don't understand. Seeing you shall see, and you shall not perceive that at all. Because there's a blindness upon his people. We're blind. Our sins blinded us in our corruption. Oh, that is the prophecy found here in Isaiah 6:10. It's in the book. He says concerning us, his people, Isaiah 6:10. He says, for the levim of the hearts of this people, it is shomim. It's fat, isn't it? You understand what shomim is? We are lusty and wicked. We lust for everything. We are lusty. That's what Yah, when he says, shomim, he said the hearts are fat. We lust. We lust. We are lusty. Their hearts are fat. They're darkened. And make their ears heavy. You'd rather hear me talk about the Krispy Kreme donut than this truth. Makes you want one, huh? Oh, you hypocrites, don't run that gambit on me. I won't eat it. Don't play that with me. You may not eat it today, 2 days later, you'll eat it, all right? Sharia, Zipporah had, I shouldn't eat them. I was sick last night. They had some coconut cookies. Those things were sweet. I ate about 5 or 6 of them. I shouldn't have done that. I should have never done that. No, they were not tough. They were just flat out good. How about that? Sweet as sugar. And I said, man, you're messing up. And I could feel it too. I knew I shouldn't have done that. But they were too sweet. When I ate the first one, I couldn't go back. Give me another one. Well, I ate the second one. I said, give me 2. No, give me 3. Give me 4 of them. I just couldn't turn back. I just could not. Oh, these health conscious, when they tell you, not me, oh, stop it, hypocrite. So I had to work hard today. I said, I got to get that. Take care of that. You understand? Hallelujah. Isaiah says, for this people, they make hard, their ears are heavy, and shut their eyes. We don't shut our eyes, do we? Lest they should see with their eyes, their ayin, and hear with their ears. See, we must do that. And understand with our heart. See, once you understand, he says, and then, and convert. Shoo, change, and be healed. See, when you understand, you change. Wonderful change come over you. See, when you hear, and when you began to hear, you began to see. When you began to see, you began to understand. And then you say, I'm so sorry, Yah. And then you shoop. You will convert. You will change. So we believe that the end time is here. We still live like hell. We live wicked. We live raw. We live sadistically. Don't give me that bullshitting. We're flat out liars. We don't shoop. We don't change. That's what convert is. Shoop, change. You turn around. You don't do the same thing you did yesterday. Because you understand what Torah says and the judgment of God. And you fear that. We don't fear that. We have this self-grandizing disposition of me that is them. No, it's me. That's right. I know you don't know what you're doing, but that's all right. Clap again. That's all right. Give me another clap. We got this preconceived, self-grandizing disposition of us, and it's wrong. When you really began to see and hear Shemach, hear to obey, you will understand. And then once you understand, you will say, oh yeah, the time is upon us. Shouldn't I say, oh, I didn't realize it was that late. It's getting late in the evening. It's getting late now. And the sun is going down. Back in Matthew 13:15, the same words. For this people's heart is wax gross, and their ears are dull of hearing. We don't get dull of hearing, Yah. We don't want to hear Yah. He said their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes they have closed. Lest at any time they shall see with their eyes and hear with their ears, and they shall understand. We need to understand from our hearts. And they will understand with hear. And should be converted. And then Yah says, I shall heal them. Same prophecy. And that's why Baruch says they won't even understand that we're in the end. We need Yah's healing. It's not as much as our physical bodies need healing. We need our confidence of Munah to be healed. We don't trust him. We have no confidence in him. We need that to be healed. We need to change from our wicked ways that produce nothing but more agony. And you began by hearing. You began to hear, your eyes are open. And as your eyes open, you will begin to understand. And the more you understand it, you see the radical change. I don't walk like I did 6 months ago, 6 days ago. There's never been a time in my life from month to month I cannot see a progressive growth. That has always been with me. I see a growth every month, every week. I see a difference. I see a different analytical approach. I see it every week. I see that. I can see there's a measurable substance there. I can see it every day. I see it every day. I see it. I see the apprehension of Torah and with comprehension. I see it. Because there's one thing, I don't care how tired I am and how busy and how lazy. I must take time to understand the riches of this book. And I can lay down at night and sleep well. I don't sleep with no discomfort. That's a fact. I sleep well every night. I sleep very well. I sleep very well. And when I close my eyes, I don't wake up until it's time to get up. Either 5:30 or 6. And at times I get up at 4:30. I don't like that one though. Once I wake up, I can't lay there. If I got something to do, my friend, at 7, I don't want to get up at 6. I like to get up at 5:30 or 5. So give me time to acclimate. If I'm cooking for us, I won't have my grill started at 6. I don't like to get up at the last moment. I like to tend to me first and take care of me. I do. Sit there and maybe do a little studying and stuff like that. That's what I like to do. I like to get up in half an hour. Say what? It is the truth. I got something to do and I get up at, I know how to be that 7, get up at 15 to 7. No, that's not me. I want to get up early. I know it started at 7. Well, if I get up at 5:30, I got plenty of time. I can take care of some things that morning, get that done. That's how you do it. Wait till the last minute. Get up. I'm not that way. Never have been that way. And never will do that. I have a few verses I want to close with. Hallelujah. These are the one that shall understand. I want to identify them. It's a simple process. It is found in the Torah and the writings of Moshe. Dibarim Duromini. This is what the mark of a true Hebrew, Ibram, Israelite soldier is. Deuteronomy 4:6, Yah commands us, he said, keep Shema, guard. With all that you have, he said, keep therefore what? The mitzvah, the commands, the wisdom of Yah. Deuteronomy 4:6. And he tells us when we keep them, therefore, he used that little word, do them, asa. Fashion your mind after them, fashion your walk after. He said, do them. He said, for this is your chukmah, this is your wisdom. And wisdom is the collectiveness of knowledge, understanding, and the principles of Yah. You have wisdom to apply them and the principles that and make it work. See, this is our understanding. We do what he commands us. We just do what Yah commands us, just do. He said, this is our wisdom. Not only is your wisdom, but this your understanding. You know you understand him. We got to do what the book says. This is your understanding. Where? In the sight of all men, they will know you're wise. Your walk is not like other men. You don't look like other men. You don't talk like them. It's different. He's in the sight of all nations, of the nations, which shall hear of these great statutes, the pickles of Yah, and say, surely, this is a great nation. It is a nation that is a wise nation. It's a nation that has binah, a people that is an understanding people. We got to keep what's written in the book to understand. You cannot understand the gates of Yah without keeping what is written in the book. And that's why we don't understand. That's why he said no one will understand. And that's why we drink and we add drunkenness to our thirst. We thirst for wicked things and we get consumed by those wicked things that produce nothing at all. We get carried away about nothing, trivial things. When we have this great assurance, it produced one of the most pulsating thing among us. I'll read what it says. I won't tell you where this is at. This is the wisdom of Shlomo. He says to us that the shechel, understanding the prudence and the insight of Torah, shechel, just like a shekel, it is a value. He says that understanding, it is the machor, it is a wellspring. It is the source of life. It is the source of joy. It is what purifies us that we don't go back and do the things. Understanding is a wellspring of life. What you did today, you won't do it tomorrow. That's what it says, understanding the shechel, the wisdom, this prudent insight, because you know how to discern, because you have the binah of Yah, his being. It gives you insight into everything that challenges your mind, your identity, the truth that lies in the power of the testimony of Yeshua HaMashiach. He says when you get this, it flows like the machor. It is a wellspring. It bubbles up the joy of Yah. It bubbles up the purification of Yah. It bubbles that up. Tell me we have understanding when I look at us. We're dead in our sins. Because we are wicked. Understanding is the wellspring of life. That's what it is. It brings joy. It's the source of joy. When you understand, it's the source of joy. Simple example. Mama hadn't seen the soldier boy in 10 years. They thought he was missing in action. When she get the news, she understands he's coming home. Whoa! She runs. She goes and tells everybody, doesn't she? She runs to every house. I got the joy bells of Yah, oh, deep down in me. We have nothing but sin in us. That's why we don't have a wellspring. That's why there's no well, there's no life source. I'm a warrior, I'm a giver. I fight for the kingdom. It's a wellspring, it's a machon. It purifies us. We understand our ways and our sins and the kindness of Yah. That is the machon. It purifies us. And it makes us exceedingly full of joy to know that a wretched, wicked thing that forgets you over the smallest, minute thing. And yet you remind me of your great kindness. And we don't have no damn joy, but you get happy over a wicked hamburger to feed your greedy, doggish belly. I said that way. Get happy over some coconut cookies. That's stupid. This is what makes me fat here. Mm-hmm. He says that it is a wellspring of life, and this is the key. Understanding, and he that has. Well, in my diligence, in my deliverance search, I didn't know that the word has in this application, it is Baal. It must lord over you. That's what Baal is. Baal. See, it must lord over you. He that has understanding. That's what must lord. That's must be your Lord. If I must use that expression, that's what Baal is. It's to have supremacy and power to rule and to make you subject to it. He that has it. That's what it is to those that have it. But the instructions of the Evel, the fool, it is folly. They're full of their foolishness and silly ways and immaturity because they don't know Yah. Where does it come from? When we get this right here, I just read from Mishlei, Proverbs 16:22. I'll tell you what this last one is, all right? Proverbs 18:4. It says, the words of a man's mouth, they are as deep or as amuk. See, the words of his mouth, they're amuk, they're deep. They have unsearchable depth, full of mysteries. You can't even find them out. The words of a man's mouth, they are amuk. They are deep waters. And then he says, and the well spring, and the well spring, the machor, the wellspring of wisdom, it is like a naba, it is like a gushing, pouring brook that brings refreshing of life. There's nothing like a fresh brook of water that flows into a cistern. The waters are fresh and cold and cool and they're clean. That's what the words of a man's mouth is. What is his word? His word is his lamp. That's what it is. And that's what we need from the well of our hearts. And the only way we're going to get that is by listening and hearing and allowing Yah to open our eyes that we may understand. That's why we don't know what's about to happen and we don't care because we have no understanding. We don't fear Yah. May the riches of Yah rest upon his nation, his people. I don't apologize for anything I've said. It's going to take more than this for you to get into the kingdom. You're going to have to give it all. We just have not relented. Almighty Yah, we do barak you for all things, for your great blessings, your riches, and your shalom. We told you for this day, bless us and keep us, strengthen your nation of people as we wait for the promises in your Yeshua. Bless our Achim, bring them safely home. Take our Zacheni down the highway safely, protect him and the Imaim We ask it in Yeshua's name, your healing power upon us all. Hallelujah. 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 Ya Barak Yisrael.